One evening, while my dad and I were casually discussing finances, he unexpectedly asked, "Is your allowance sufficient?" His sincere tone caught me off guard, as I had no recollection of ever receiving an allowance. A wave of confusion and curiosity swept over me, as though I had uncovered a hidden family secret. Had he been giving money to someone else all along? The next morning, I frantically searched my room for any clues about the mysterious allowance, but it was all in vain. Nothing indicated the existence of an allowance. I sifted through old birthday cards, dug beneath piles of books, and even felt around the edges of the walls, hoping to find a hidden compartment. Frustration set in as I realized I would need to search even deeper to solve this mystery. "Are you sure you've been giving me an allowance?" I asked. He looked puzzled and insisted that the money had been sent to my bank account. Each word deepened my confusion, and determined to get to the bottom of it, I quickly decided to visit the bank for answers. After school, my curiosity got the best of me, and I nervously approached my dad, unsure of how he would respond. Standing at the bank, my heart raced as I handed my details to the teller. There was no sign of the money my dad had supposedly deposited. As I left, a troubling question lingered in my mind. Where had all that money gone if it never reached my account? When he told me that my account had seen minimal activity over the years, I felt my heart sink. Back home, the mystery seemed to tighten around me, and I began to watch my stepmother closely, observing her every move under my subtle scrutiny. She remained calm and composed, her expression offering no clues to the answers I sought. The facade was perfect, yet with each passing moment, I grew more uneasy, wondering if she held the missing piece of this complex puzzle. Despite my careful watching and probing, answers remained elusive. I wanted to share my concerns, but without any concrete evidence, I hesitated. I had no choice but to rely on the little information I could gather, hoping it would eventually bring me closer to the truth about the missing money. My dad noticed the distant look in my eyes and asked if something was wrong. Involving him without proof felt too risky. The weekend gave me more time to observe my stepmother's behavior. She frequently left the house unexpectedly, offering only vague explanations. Something didn't feel right, and her sudden departure sparked my curiosity. I decided to pay closer attention, watching for any clues she might unknowingly reveal. This would be my chance to uncover something unusual about where she went and whether it was connected to the mystery of the allowance. One Saturday afternoon, I quietly slipped out of the house to follow my stepmother. The sight of her lavish purchases only deepened the contradiction between her spending and our household finances. I couldn't shake the feeling that her indulgent shopping spree was somehow tied to the financial mystery that hung over us. Keeping my distance, I watched as she entered a small boutique. She emerged later, arms full of shopping bags, each one more extravagant than the last. The stark contrast between her spending and our supposed budget demanded answers. One evening, as I lingered nearby, I overheard her speaking softly on the phone. The conversation was laced with subtle tension, and her words carefully avoided something she clearly didn't want to reveal. With each mumbled sentence, my suspicions grew stronger, driving me closer to uncovering whatever secret she was hiding. Determined, I followed her once more. This time she led me to an upscale restaurant, where she greeted a man warmly, their interactions almost too familiar. My heart raced as the implications began to take shape. It was clear she was hiding something significant. The mystery slowly started to unfold before my eyes, and I realized this clue could be the key to finally uncovering the secret behind the elusive allowance. From my hidden spot, I watched as my stepmother and the man shared easy laughs and smiles, their connection unsettling in its ease. My mind raced with questions about their relationship. Were they old friends, or was there something more between them? The meeting didn't feel like a casual encounter, and I couldn't shake the sense that I was on the verge of uncovering something significant. Back home, I replayed every detail of their interaction, piecing together the clues like a jigsaw puzzle. I knew I needed solid proof to confirm my suspicions. The more I thought about it, the more I realized there might be connections I hadn't considered at first. Everything seemed to be linked to the allowance mystery, and that realization drove me to dig even deeper. Feeling stuck, I turned to my best friend, Emma, for a fresh perspective. She suggested I reach out to my dad's accountant for more insight into our finances. It was risky, but her idea made sense. Who better to shed light on any financial irregularities than the person handling the accounts? Over steaming mugs of coffee, I shared everything I had uncovered. Emma listened closely, her eyes wide with intrigue. My voice trembled slightly as I inquired about the allowance. To my surprise, the accountant mentioned that unusual transactions had been flagged. This revelation sent my curiosity soaring, fueling my drive to uncover the truth behind these financial irregularities. Determined to get to the bottom of things, I called the accountant's office, pretending to be helping my dad with a financial matter. In that instant, my mind raced, connecting the dots to my stepmother's extravagant shopping habits. Her frequent lavish purchases now seemed directly linked to the deductions from the account. Could the money intended for me have been funding her shopping sprees? The realization struck me hard. This wasn't just a misunderstanding, it was possibly a deliberate deception. The accountant casually mentioned that several large debits had been made from the allowance account. The more I uncovered, the more overwhelming the truth became. The money involved wasn't a small sum, which made me question the extent of the deceit. Armed with this information, I considered confronting my stepmother. Would she admit to it, or was this deception even deeper than I had imagined? The mounting evidence left me grappling with the best approach to bring this mystery to light. Despite my eagerness to confront her, something inside urged me to wait. It felt premature to act without having a complete picture of what was going on. Gathering all the evidence was crucial before making any accusations. Acting on partial information could backfire, so I knew I needed to remain calm and collected, ensuring I didn't jeopardize the opportunity to uncover the full extent of her actions. Days passed, and I began to notice subtle shifts in our household dynamics. Every interaction felt veiled, and I couldn't shake the sense that my stepmother was aware of my growing suspicions. Despite this, I pressed on, keeping my observations sharp as I continued to dig deeper into the secrets hidden within my own home. The usual tranquility was replaced by a quiet tension, as though secrets were quietly swirling around us. It was as if she sensed the growing tension in my probing gaze. Her attempts to maintain a facade felt forced. Small, insincere gestures had replaced the meaningful connections we once shared. The act was too deliberate to be genuine, and I couldn't help but wonder if she realized just how close I was to unraveling her role in the ongoing mystery. Lately, my stepmother's behavior had taken on an unusual attentiveness, her eyes meeting mine far too often. Dad's frequent work absences gave me more opportunities to investigate. One evening, a sudden ping caught my attention, and I checked the shared tablet. A text from the mysterious man flashed on the screen, intended for my stepmother. The message was cryptic, hinting at some kind of arrangement, adding another layer to the puzzle. My hands trembled as the realization hit. There was much more to uncover. The text message I found hinted at a weekend getaway, giving me the perfect opportunity to gather more information. If my stepmother and her mysterious friend were planning to leave, it would be my chance to search more thoroughly. The thought of what they might be up to churned in my mind, but I was determined to use their absence to uncover the truth behind the missing allowance. With my stepmother distracted, I became bolder in exploring her belongings. Her handbag, carelessly left in the living room, caught my attention first. Inside, I found receipts from luxurious hotels, each more extravagant than the last, painting a picture of indulgence that didn't align with our family's situation. Every receipt revealed a secret she never intended for me to uncover. The more evidence I uncovered, the more I worried about what it meant for my dad. Did he have any idea about my stepmother's actions? As I pieced together the mystery, more questions continued to arise. Each decision I made felt crucial, knowing it could tear at the very fibers of trust that held our family together. The weight of balancing the web of deceit and the looming confrontation pressed heavily on me. I needed to ensure her claims matched up. As soon as she left, I called the number she had dialed earlier and listened carefully to the conversation that followed. What I learned from that simple call had the potential to confirm the suspicions that had been building for weeks. That weekend, my stepmother mentioned visiting a friend out of town, and I saw it as the perfect opportunity to verify her story. A wave of dread filled my chest as I hung up the phone. With my dad still out, I felt an overwhelming urge to search her closet for more clues. I needed something tangible, a concrete piece of evidence that could expose the tangled web she had been weaving around our family. During the call, the friend casually mentioned plans that directly clashed with my stepmother's story. As I rummaged through her clothing, my fingers brushed against a hidden organizer filled with addresses and meetings unrelated to us. My heart raced as I scanned names and places I didn't recognize. While searching, I clumsily tripped over a small box tucked beneath a pile of clothes. Intrigued and apprehensive, I opened it, hoping it would reveal more about my stepmother's hidden life. The depth of her deceit was now clear before me. Every word and image confirmed my growing fears. Her betrayal was undeniable. I realized then that this wasn't just about the missing allowance money. It was about a secret life she had been hiding from us all along. Inside the box were a series of letters and photos, each linking my stepmother to the man she'd met at the restaurant. As I sorted through the evidence, a storm of emotions churned within me. The relief of uncovering the truth was overshadowed by the crushing weight of despair. My dad deserved to know what was happening, but the thought of telling him was overwhelming. How would he react to such betrayal? My hands trembled slightly as I braced myself for the conversation that would change everything. I braced myself, knowing the confrontation was inevitable. Timing was everything, and I kept a close watch on both of them, waiting for the moment when the truth could no longer be ignored. Yet the fear of how everything might unravel held me back, making me hesitate just a little longer. Each piece of evidence I uncovered only made my determination stronger. However, choosing the right moment to speak with my dad was proving challenging. But as the truth took form on paper, a wave of fear washed over me. Each word exposed the deceit in the missing allowance that had disappeared into someone else's life. The potential fallout was daunting, and the decision to hand over the letter felt like a monumental step. I wasn't sure I was ready to set everything in motion. I compiled all my findings into a letter, carefully detailing the financial irregularities and the evidence I had gathered. Each line on his face told a story of exhaustion, of work that never stopped. Part of me longed to confide in him about my stepmom, but it felt wrong to add another burden to his already heavy load. I held back, forcing a smile whenever his tired eyes met mine. But in the back of my mind, I knew that time was running out, and soon I'd have to face the truth. Dad barely glanced up from his papers, his face etched with the weariness of office stress that seemed to cling to him. Our lunches became nothing more than polite exchanges, devoid of the warmth they once held. She moved through the house with a confidence that felt rehearsed, as though daring me to challenge her. Yet the weight of what I knew hung between us, making every interaction feel increasingly tense. Each smile she flashed at me felt empty, a hollow gesture that couldn't mask the betrayal simmering just beneath the surface. As if nothing had changed, my stepmother resumed her daily routine, her mask securely in place. It was a delicate balancing act, but I was determined to make it count. I needed my dad to witness her deception firsthand. Without solid proof, everything I'd uncovered could easily be dismissed. Planning my next move became my sole focus, strategizing a way to expose her in a manner that would make it impossible for Dad to ignore the truth unfolding around him. Her deceit gnawed at me like an itch I couldn't scratch, but I stayed guarded, knowing that rushing into confrontation wouldn't give my accusations the weight they needed. I decided to meet her mysterious companion myself, fully aware of the risks involved. The encounter had to be carefully planned, unexpected yet casual enough not to raise suspicion. Preparing for this step felt like the only way to confront the lies head-on, to take control of the situation and bring the truth to light, no matter the cost. It felt like walking a tightrope between discovery and deception. The man could be the key to unraveling the entire tangled mess, and I needed direct answers. Nerves steadied, I set my plan in motion, pretending it was just a regular cafe visit. As always, she headed out, unaware of my close pursuit. When she entered a quiet corner cafe, I saw my chance. On the outside, I appeared calm, but inside, my mind raced. I prepared to orchestrate our first accidental encounter, hoping it would provide an opportunity to uncover the truth. The man sat there, leaning in too familiarly for just a friend. Charismatic and confident, he contrasted sharply with my stepmother's carefully controlled demeanor. Gathering my courage, I accidentally bumped into their table, pretending to be flustered. The moment gave me a chance to observe them closely. noting their startled reactions as they recognized me. Each forced smile added another piece to the growing puzzle I was assembling. Her initial shock quickly gave way to a strained politeness as she introduced him. "This is my friend," she said, the word friend loaded with unspoken meaning. I nodded and exchanged pleasantries, but the tension was palpable, lingering between us. Beneath the surface, suspicion churned, and with each passing second, the divide between what was real and what was being masked grew more pronounced. In those fleeting moments, I seized my opportunity, slipping a folded note into her unguarded purse. It contained a simple confession letter I'd written, a quiet yet bold gesture aimed at coaxing her into admitting her deceit before more drastic measures were needed. As I walked home, a mixture of anticipation and fear coursed through me, wondering how she would react to the planted seed of confrontation. Her abrupt retreat from the room spoke volumes, leaving unspoken words hanging in the air. Whatever comfort or security she found with this man seemed to unravel in her haste. Each sharp breath and stiff movement only deepened my suspicions, suggesting a connection far more complicated than I had initially imagined, and leaving me with even more questions than before. The stranger's significance became undeniable when my stepmother returned home, her emotions simmering beneath the surface. If she refused to come clean, I needed a backup plan. My resolve to reveal everything grew stronger, understanding that transparency was the next necessary step. Silently, I rehearsed the conversation in my mind, bracing myself for a seismic shift in our family dynamics, preparing for whatever might unfold. As tensions continued to rise, it became clear that hiding the truth benefited no one, least of all my dad. Her actions were sharp, almost mechanical, as she went through her usual routine. I watched her closely, pretending to seem indifferent, yet observing her every step like a hawk eyeing its prey. The more she attempted to appear normal, the more her discomfort became apparent. It was as if she sensed I was on the brink of exposing her hidden secrets. It was as if she knew I was on the verge of uncovering her secrets. That evening, the tension in the air was palpable, emanating from my stepmother with every calculated movement she made. Later that night, I reflected on her actions, carefully noting the subtle signs of unease. Her demeanor was a delicate mix of feigned calm and underlying worry, creating an illusion of normalcy. But beneath the surface, I could sense the turmoil she was desperately trying to conceal. Every now and then, she would glance toward me, as if fearful I'd uncovered more than I had. At dinner, my dad appeared completely oblivious to the tension hanging in the air. Every time I tried to catch his eye, his focus was elsewhere. I knew that timing was crucial. I had to wait for the right moment, when emotions were calmer and I could speak to him without adding to the drama. Lost in his thoughts about work, he hardly noticed the strain between my stepmother and me. After dinner, I seized a quiet moment to speak with my dad. I could see the disbelief in his eyes slowly giving way to understanding as he processed the full scope of what I was revealing. As we spoke, it became clear just how fragile our family's foundation had become, amplifying the urgency to act. Keeping my voice steady, I carefully explained the financial discrepancies I had uncovered, making sure not to add to his already mounting stress. He assured me that changes would come, but asked for a little more patience. He absorbed the weight of the situation, carefully weighing it against the delicate peace that had held our family together. His quiet promise sparked a flicker of hope within me, and I found myself trusting that he would eventually uncover the full truth. In the aftermath of my revelations, my dad shifted from disbelief to a focused calm. I accepted his request for patience, though anxiety simmered beneath my surface. Days passed without any visible changes, the silence growing heavier with each ticking moment. Anticipation filled the air as we all moved through the days, tiptoeing around the unspoken issues. It was hard to remain hopeful, yet a part of me clung to the belief that my dad's words would soon be backed by action. She seemed to sense the increased scrutiny and responded with even more calculated actions. At the same time, my dad's frequent absences began to weigh on my mind, raising concerns about the direction of his own investigation. The distance between moments seemed to stretch, filled with my curiosity and his silence. My stepmother remained guarded, her secrets carefully concealed but still evident in the subtle changes in her behavior. The tension in the air was palpable, as if everything was on the verge of breaking. I soon discovered that my dad had arranged their meeting, setting the stage for a major confrontation. The atmosphere grew heavier, and I could see my stepmother's usually confident facade falter, just for a moment. With a mix of intrigue and anxiety, I braced myself for the truths this meeting was bound to uncover. So when the stranger my stepmother had met days earlier reappeared, it didn't shock me. She quickly regained control, masking her unease with forced politeness. Watching her struggle to maintain her poise in the tense atmosphere stirred my curiosity. While I was disappointed by her dishonesty, there was a certain satisfaction in seeing her scramble to preserve her dignity. The verbal exchange between them piqued my interest, both clearly aware that a bigger game was unfolding between them. For a brief moment, my stepmother's composure slipped as the stranger approached, revealing a crack in her otherwise flawless armor. My dad remained calm, his composure stronger than I had seen in a long time. He approached the topic with strategic precision, knowing that every argument needed to be tested under pressure. As I watched him, a sense of admiration grew within me, impressed by how he handled the situation with such resolve and an unwavering commitment to uncovering the truth. It was clear he was ready to confront my stepmother's deception. Every word he spoke was calculated, each conversation carefully mapped out. As they exchanged heated words, I realized the depth of my dad's determination to uncover every secret my stepmother had hidden. His calmness in the face of such difficult truths was impressive, and though the revelation carried serious consequences, it was essential. With each tense verbal exchange, my admiration for his willingness to confront our family's challenges head-on grew, reinforcing the importance of pursuing honesty. The gravity of the situation extended far beyond the missing allowance. My stepmother's affair could no longer be ignored, casting a dark shadow over everything else. Every sharp glance and defensive word revealed a betrayal deeper than I had originally realized. It became clear that this wasn't a mere misunderstanding. It was a painful truth unfolding before us, driven by secrets hidden beneath carefully maintained facades of normalcy. The rooms hummed with tense conversations, raw emotions bubbling beneath the surface of polite exchanges. Despite my stepmother's efforts to maintain control, her words seemed forced and unconvincing. A silent battle unfolded between truth and deception, the dissonance in our once peaceful household growing more evident with every revelation. Dad's resolve to expose the deceit was unmistakable. He listened carefully, probing for inconsistencies and demanding the truth. My stepmother's composure faltered as she struggled to face the consequences of the accusations. Each document served as evidence of her financial misdeeds, stripping away the layers of her carefully constructed facade. With the undeniable evidence before her, my dad presented an overwhelming challenge to her deceit. The truth was inescapable, and her confidence slowly faded as the reality set in. Papers detailing financial discrepancies were spread across the table, revealing the misuse of family funds. Her defenses crumbled, disintegrating like sand slipping through her fingers. These previously minor characters had become essential elements of a narrative that was now laid bare. Fragments of her hidden life surfaced, unraveling the carefully constructed story she had maintained. Each revelation tightened the grip of truth, pulling the threads of her facade until it mirrored the reality we had uncovered. Names and faces of unfamiliar strangers came into focus. Figures who had once seemed insignificant, yet were now vital to the unfolding story. There was no denying the truths that my dad's pursuit had revealed. Her explanations faltered, and my dad's relentless questioning exposed the depth of premeditated deceit. Each unraveling lie revealed the orchestrated betrayal at the heart of it all. Confronted with irrefutable facts, it became clear that she would have to either confess or desperately cling to her crumbling deception. As the layers peeled away, relationships and events that had once been concealed by lies were now laid bare. It gave me some comfort to know that my actions had played a key role in the journey toward honesty. While I felt somewhat on the outskirts of the main confrontation, I understood that exposing the truth was crucial. Though the trust within our family was now shattered, uncovering the lies had become the first step toward healing. Throughout the process, I mostly remained a spectator, watching as the layers of deceit were peeled back before my eyes. Recovering from the layers of deception seemed possible, though daunting. The moment everything clicked into place, when the truths were fully illuminated, was both shocking and, in hindsight, necessary. It uncovered a tale of betrayal, but also one of renewal, offering a potential path forward if we could confront these harsh realities together. Like a chain of dominoes, each truth fell, one after another, reshaping my understanding of our family dynamic. The weighty letter lay in front of them, shattering any pretense my stepmother had left. The tension of her impending revelation thickened the air, leaving no room for further deception. With every dishonesty exposed, the truth emerged from the shadows, demanding clarity and forcing her to face the full extent of her actions. My dad confronted her with a voice laced with betrayal as hidden expenses unraveled with each lie peeled away. Her double existence, one of luxury and deceit, emerged through financial evidence once concealed. It painted a picture of betrayal, fueled by money that was supposed to be trusted. From my vantage point, I witnessed the raw unraveling of emotions, the howls of betrayal ringing out in the harsh light of truth. What had started as a mystery transformed into a revelation, marking the beginning of a difficult but necessary path forward. At last, the mystery of the missing allowance money unlocked the truth of an affair funding my stepmother's secret life. Dinner was a quiet affair, the weight of Dad's disappointment hanging heavily in the air. His silence spoke volumes, more than any words could. It was clear that the fallout was inevitable, a bittersweet but necessary step toward mending the fractures in our family caused by my stepmother's deceit. The room seemed to echo with unspoken regret, each of us lost in our own thoughts as we navigated the painful aftermath of betrayal. Dad sat quietly, processing each revelation with a stoic calm that masked the turmoil beneath. His resolve to repair our shattered trust was clear. A mix of heartache and relief washed over me. Finally knowing the truth was liberating, yet the sting of betrayal still lingered. His silent determination to make things right gave me hope, a small light in the murky waters of our disrupted family life. Without a word, my stepmother packed her bags and quietly exited our lives, leaving an unsettling silence behind. Dad acknowledged my role in unraveling the allowance mystery, his quiet pride offering a small comfort that briefly eased my troubled heart. Her departure marked a turning point, a chance for healing and the opportunity to rebuild. Free from the shadow of deceit that had loomed over our home, hope flickered like a candle in the dark, lighting our way toward a future free from deceit. My dad and I focused on rebuilding our foundation, mending the cracks with the strength of truth and honesty. It was a relief to look ahead, no longer haunted by the past, knowing that every step we took would be rooted in sincerity. With my stepmother gone, life began to shift toward a quiet sense of normalcy, as if a new chapter was unfolding before us. Despite the scars left by betrayal, our bond surprisingly grew stronger. Conversations became more open, an honest exchange we had once taken for granted. It was empowering to realize that while secrets had bruised us, they also had the potential to strengthen our resolve. Together, we faced challenges head-on, now fully aware of the importance of keeping no toxic secrets lingering in our family. Through adversity, we came to understand that transparency and trust were essential to any meaningful family relationship. Embracing this new chapter, I moved forward with a renewed perspective. Dad's wisdom and the way he navigated our family's turmoil left a lasting impression on me. Our journey taught us resilience, the ability to adapt and grow from even the most difficult situations. It became a life lesson that continued to shape every decision I made moving forward. The entire ordeal, with its highs and lows, transformed into an invaluable lesson in trust and the strength of family bonds. We cherished the comfort of shared experiences, no longer burdened by hidden agendas. Over time, moments of warmth began to fill the spaces that had once been occupied by the shadows of betrayal. Gradually, we turned the page on what had been, leaving the unpleasantness behind and focusing on love and a shared vision for the future. As the days passed, life found a quieter rhythm, with reflection becoming essential in reinforcing our commitment to maintaining the peace we had fought for. Rebuilding meant prioritizing open communication to protect our family from future harm. We adopted principles of transparency, ensuring there was no space for hurtful secrets to grow. The ordeal had forged an unbreakable bond between my dad and me, a silent promise to value honesty above all else. Our unity, though newly formed, was strong, grounded in openness and trust. It was a relief to know that our home had become a true haven of understanding. Support poured in from neighbors and friends, helping us heal the wounds that deceit had once deepened. Moving forward, we focused on the gratitude we felt for the solid community surrounding us, no longer dwelling on old scars. Instead, we celebrated the opportunity to build a future, strengthened by the unwavering support of those who had stood by us unconditionally through our struggles. Embracing the present became essential, an act of love and forgiveness, finding peace in leaving past mistakes behind. Our journey became a testament to resilience and the transformative power of truth. The mystery of the allowance now serves as a constant reminder of the value of honesty, shaping our lives in ways we hadn't anticipated. It reinforced the importance of confronting discomfort for the sake of long-term strength and unity. Moving forward, our path was illuminated by newfound clarity, personal growth, and the hard-earned trust that would guide us into a brighter future. What began as a simple question about my allowance unfolded into profound revelations about integrity within a family.